Okay, so we have a new episode of Legends and Leaders, and today it's great to have Brandon here. Brandon, you've got quite the incredible career in the collectible space. You've been able to be involved in some of the most important collectibles of all time, and you've built this exchange for them that has been has really garnered quite an amazing reputation. And you've been able to deal with some of these incredible people in the sports world and help them their collectibles be done correctly, be sold correctly, and I think you've really set an example of what's possible with the building a collectible business. I mean, it's been incredibly successful. So I'm excited to have you and to get into your story.
Well, thank you. Thanks for having me. And it has been quite a journey, to say the least.
Yeah.
Um, things happen, and if you want to do something exceptional and extraordinary anyway, they happen in a very unusual, untraditional way. And you have to be prepared for that. A lot of people can't handle that. And the leadership doesn't, it doesn't happen from the person in the corner office or some government official. Like the leadership comes from within. And whether you have a company of 5 or 50 or 500, leadership skills are necessary. And leadership is fixing what's broken, finding things that are broken and fixing them, or taking something that's already doing well and figuring out a way to make it better. That's the value proposition. If you're a leader, if you're an entrepreneurial leader, you're trying to find, the mistake, the miss, the gap, what I call a game altering play. I call it my gap. You're trying to find something. So that's kind of how I've been my whole life from the time I had my paper route. Even now with this new company, and I'm not at Steiner anymore, but from a leadership standpoint, I felt like the industry needs something different. There's a lot of collectibles being put out there. I put out a lot of collectibles. Feel like I had a pretty big impact on the business, millions and millions of collectibles, to be honest, and I probably secured over 40 million autographs alone. But
Wow.
I felt like there needed to be a change, and it needed to be a better, more upscale place for people to be able to buy and sell the stuff that they have already. There are people now not sitting with 5 or 10 things; they're sitting with 500 things, 1,000 things. And if you change your mind on something, what are you going to do? And the leadership for me is thinking about not only what's happening, but also looking ahead and thinking about what is going to probably happen. You have $6 trillion of wealth getting transferred over in the next probably 3 or 4 years. You have more wealth sitting with people 65 and older. Almost 70% of the wealth in this country happens with 65 and older. And the average age is 79. So you do the math and you figure there's a lot of people that need to downsize, change direction on their investments and on their portfolio. And I guess nobody really planned, but from the collectability standpoint, like where are you going to go do that? Where are you going to put all these cool jerseys and helmets and cards? And then how do you even know what they're worth? Because there's been such a changeover with the value of a lot of these items. So we created a company that did that. It's daunting, but nobody else was doing it. And I still have no idea what I'm doing bad. Not going to bullshit you, but I'm doing it anyway. And I'm not a big tech guy, but I found good, smart tech people around me. We're building something that's been amazing. We can't keep up with the leads and the people that are coming to us with their collections. And for two reasons: one, we offer a really good service, and we want to help you. And B, Steiner is a name that people trust. I always tell people, like, you can have a bad day, but you can't have a bad past. And it's really important because your past will somehow arise and be served for you for lunch. And if it's not a good lunch, it's not a good past, it's not good. So, for me to step away from Steiner and then build this has just been incredible. What a journey. And at 60, I just figuring it out, working some of the different angles to make sure that number one, that there's an early indication that I'm helping people. Yeah, I know it sounds simple, but sometimes you get lost. You have a good product, but it doesn't mean that you're really still helping people with a problem that they have. And you got to be able to stick to that core competency of people are really struggling. Somebody's died in the family. I mean, it's a very emotional time when they start giving up their collection. And you got to be able to supply all the different things that they need, even though they're not convenient. And I think when you put the customer and fan first with their needs, that good things can happen. But you see a lot of companies will move away from it. Like you can't get somebody on the phone. You, God forbid, something happens, a dramatic thing happens. They won't change your reservation. They won't change your flight. You know what I mean? There's so many rules now because people can hide behind the tech. They hide behind their websites. And me, no, I'm available. Like we know in this company that anybody who has a problem is like we treat them like our mom. If your mom had a problem, would you just send it to fill out some survey or whatever? Like we take care of our problems, we run to them. And I think that's another very valuable tool in building this new company and leadership, which is don't do what everyone else is doing. Do the right thing on purpose. And for me, it's turning up the volume on customer service because it's something that a lot of people moved away from, putting more money in tech, making it easier for you. True. Can't argue that. I mean, buying and getting things, it's a lot easier. I'm not here to knock the technology, the advancement. However, it'd be nice every now and then if you have a problem that we'll be able to take care of them. And if you notice, like nobody really wants to help you. So one of my first things when I talk to people, like, do you want to help me? And our first thing is we want to help you. When somebody calls me with a problem, my first answer is I want to help you. No, I'm not going to send you around in circles because especially with these collectibles, it's still a very new industry. Only
Mhm.
about 25, 30 years old, really, when you think about it. So the advancement here is potential is great, but I'm not trying to look at the money grab,
Mhm.
which some people that, I'm living this business almost my whole life now.
Yeah.
I'm almost 40 years in it. So it's personal. But I recommend to you, whether you're 20, 40, or 60, make it personal. Like if you want to be extraordinary, make it personal and lead with curiosity and enthusiasm, not how much money can I make? What's my advancement? What's my get? The get comes like the more good you do, the part of the way you do well comes every time. Just do as much good as you can. And I really feel good about the amount of people we're helping here. And it's not only athletes, celebrities, they're sitting with a ton of stuff. We're helping them unload their stuff and figuring out how to vault it. A lot of people just want to get out of their house, so they're in a jam. But so it's been fun. I mean, the journey's been fun. It's been daunting, to start something that I've never done before, a marketplace, build a marketplace, hoping that people are going to come. Like if you build it, they'll come. Like, I don't know, 2 years in, they weren't coming then. I'm like, maybe we guessed wrong. I don't know, but I had an early indication that a few people came. Not as many as I wanted, not as people I hoped for, but a few people came. So I thrived on that. Not all the people that didn't, but I thrived on the few that did, and I stuck on that. And I tried to figure out why they came, and I tried building off of that. And so far, so good.
So, what made you just even interested in collectibles? Like, how did your passion for collectibles start? And then when did you decide, Brandon, like, okay, I can make this into a business?
Well, I've always been a collector, but to be honest, my first I was really a player marketer, which I still am. I'm still booking a lot of players for appearances, endorsements. And what happened is back in the early 90s, I mean, I was booking, 2,000 appearances a year, which sounds like a lot, which it is, but, there were $1,000 to 5,000 was the most you got for a player. The market completely changed. So, truth be told, I mean, if I knew the market was ever going to be at the level it's at now, I probably wouldn't have done the collectibles. What brought me to the collectibles is that I was doing all these appearances and I wasn't really making a lot of money. So I figured I needed to add another added value proposition to if I got you a player to speak or to show up at your trade show, I'd be like, hey, do you want to do a raffle at your trade show? Do you want to maybe get some balls signed, some football signed? Never thought that I was going to be a direct to retail, have a name brand like Steiner and now Collectible Exchange. I just thought this would be an extra way to me to go bring somebody some extra stuff to be able to make a better margin on. If I brought you a football player for a speaking engagement, I'd sell you $10,000 worth of footballs and helmets. I bought them at wholesale. I was able to make 3 or 4 thousand bucks on it, and then I made only 10 or 15% commission on bringing in a player for speaking, which is kind of standard. So that's really how I got going. I remember going to the bank. I started my first company with 4,000 bucks. Not a lot. I don't recommend that. It was pretty tight, and we're just trying to book players and just trying not to grow out of business. And then I remember taking 10,000 out of the bank because originally I thought I was going to do this signing with Mickey Mantle. I thought it was a short thing, and my wife was like, "Do not even think about it." Which I would have made a lot of money on that sign if I had a good relationship with him. But we ended up just buying a little this, a little that, and all of a sudden people started calling me. And in '94, I was doing uh, I was going through a little something. I was doing a train ride back to New York, And on the back of the newspaper was Mark Messier winning the Stanley Cup, the Rangers. Now, for those of you that are not in New York, I mean, it was a very big deal. 54 years of waiting, although it's been now another 30. But and then you got, I'm just sitting there like going, what can we do with this photo? Like, I bet you everybody's so excited to win this cup. Maybe I can get Mark to sign like 15,000 of these and make some money. And when I put that deal together with Mark, which took me several months, it ended up being something very unique because nobody was doing hockey collectibles at the time. Collectibles were kind of wishy-washy. You saw some signings here and there. It wasn't like I invented signings, but the way we organized it, came up with this slogan: "Remember the moment," thriving on great moments in sports, and putting autograph collections around them. Finding great players and doing autograph collections around the great players. So instead of just signing anything, we'd get the player from little league to high school to minor league to college, whatever it is. And we put full collections around guys like Joe Montana, Mark Messier, Mariano Rivera, Derek Jeter, and it was like almost you collected this whole brand, this whole thing, and it started just taking off. I never really thought the Messier thing was going to take off like it did, but I found something that people wanted. I found passion with hockey fans, and then I started finding my way around the other sports around the country. Muhammad Ali was one of my first guys that we signed. That was a big get, and obviously Derek Jeter was a big get. Signing the Yankees to an exclusive collectible deal for 15 years is a big get. Getting all their stuff off the field. As a leader, sometimes I just want to mention this, that when I got to around 2003, I was really growing.
Mhm.
But we hit a wall. I was like, how are we going to talk people into collecting? Nobody understands what collecting is. How are they going to be into getting game used stuff and autographs? So I spent 2 years working on my Yankee Steiner deal to create a partnership with the Yankees. Then soon after that was the Cowboys, Red Sox, Cubs, Notre Dame, Alabama. And I knew that this was going to change the industry, but it didn't help me. I just knew that I was a leader in the industry, and I think as a leader, you have to do what's best for the industry, even though sometimes it's not best for you. And I knew by opening up those doors, it would open up. Fans were a lot more easily connected to what they saw when they went to a Cowboy game or went to a Giants game, and it would open up the door. But once people saw the teams getting into it, the players got a little more acclimated into it, and I was able to expand and grow the business. I think as a leader, it's a very big responsibility when you're leading in an industry, and you have to take it very seriously, or soon you won't be the leader. But your job is not only to do the right thing, but is to grow the right thing. And the growth has to happen not only for you, but for the betterment of the community and the industry you're in. And most people are worried about their product, their industry, part of the industry that they're in. Pretty self-centered, pretty selfish. But to really be a full leader and be a brand leader, you have to look at the entire scope of business and help grow that, even though it doesn't completely help you. But if you're leading, as something grows, it'll help you as well. My only knock on people in the collectibles that I didn't help and I didn't like working with are people that were doing the wrong thing, fraudulent autographs, not living up on the service end, and doing things that we've dealt with in this autograph business. We've seen a whole bunch of FBI investigations, people going to jail. So when people are not doing the right thing and not selling authentic products, which pretty soon I'm able to figure that out, those are people that you don't want to help, and you want to put a kibosh on them. But there's a lot of really small and great collectors throughout the country, and everything that I feel like I do, even with this new marketplace, I feel like I keep them in mind. It gives them an opportunity to get front and center. Some guy in Des Moines, nothing wrong with Des Moines, who's got a small little card shop, he can create a whole bunch of products on my website and be able to sell them. And it gives them an opportunity.
So, what did these exclusive collectible deals look like with the Yankees? Like, how did something or some of these teams, like, how did that function? Like, they would have, would you be able to collect things from the players and then use those? Like, how did those deals work?
Well, we were working with some of the players, so some of that stuff, but the bases, the lineup cards, dirt. We sold over $50 million of dirt. That's a good TED talk on Syracuse. If you look up YouTube, Brandon Steiner, Syracuse TED talk, great talk about how I've sold over $50 million of dirt and thousands of bricks and more grass than I'd even like to admit legally. We lifted the grass off the field, freeze dried it, sold thousands of dollars worth of that. So, when you do a deal with a team, you get the game used footballs, the game used cutting the goalpost up. Like we just did a deal with Michigan. We're cutting up the goalpost. At the end of the season, we're getting the turf, cutting that up, footballs, helmets, jerseys, pylons.
Wow.
When I go to a stadium, I look at it different. And you can't be afraid as a leader to realize that you're going to see things differently and not let that affect you. You're going into your business. If everybody saw what you saw, then it
Mm.
wouldn't be all that unique. My brain is a little weird and a little bit off, and it's been that way since I'm a little kid, and I'm okay with it. And to do what I'm doing when I walk into a stadium, like I'm about to do a couple really big projects. I'm like doing something with Live Golf. And, these golfers, they make millions of dollars, but I'm trying to show them the brand play that, if you want golf to be even bigger than what it is, like these are the little things you got to do, even though you're a big name golfer. But the guy who really gets it, I've been able to do the collectibles for the last year and a half, who I've been getting a marketing lesson from, is Savannah Bananas. And, to me, it's like as much as you think as I'm getting older, I'm just realizing how little I know. And when I run into a guy like Jesse Cole and the Savannah Bananas, I realize how what a great, refreshing, it's like a business shower of just love, pure intent to take care of people and to solve problems and to give them an experience of their life. And they've created probably one of the greatest shows I've ever seen. To be a small part of it, I'm so grateful. And even at my point in my career, I've done a lot with a lot in sports. Nothing much I haven't touched, but when I tell you, like every now and then you stumble upon something like a gift from God, that he's not worried about the money. He's worried about the experience, not here and there, but every minute of every day. And it reminds me how important that the fan and customer is. And I
Mm.
just can't believe how many companies that I deal with that don't get that.
Yeah.
And it reminds me how that I'm not going to fall into that trap, because you fall into the trap. It's all on the web. Oh, no, you want to no, go on the web. The instructions are there. Oh, you have a problem with shipping? Just look at the shipping number. Like, nobody wants to help you. But when you go to Savannah Banana game, it's the complete 360. It's the complete opposite. All they want to do is shower you with love, compassion, empathy, entertain you, give you way more than what you ever thought you were going to get. I can't believe what this guy's pulling off, and it's revigorating. It's got me like completely reset with how I want this collectible exchange company to run, because you can easily fall behind the web.
Mm.
So that's been great. I mean, we're on so many new platforms now, and so I feel like I've been reborn again, even though I've had a great run. So you
Yeah.
never know when something's going to pop up if you can pick your head up, which I think is important, and be actually excited about change. Be excited about the fact that you don't know shit, instead of walking around thinking you know everything. Just because you can click and get information doesn't mean you have it and know all the information you need. And sometimes there are some people out there that are doing some really fascinating things. I love what I'm seeing now in some of these young entrepreneurs, these teenagers, Generation Z. A lot of my older friends, they think, oh, these. I'm like, no, these kids are the real deal. Like I think that I try to surround myself with them. They can get stuff done quick. They have a different vision, and they're not sitting back. I mean, look, my generation, we invented a lot of this stuff. We invented the web. We invented texting. We invented a lot of cool stuff. So we're not that square as what people think. But the younger kids don't want to settle. They want to make it better.
Yeah.
They're not just using all these tools and apps. They're making them better. They're improving them. And I think it's really important as a leader that you don't have to be an inventor. If you can, it's a dangerous slope. For me, I invented a lot of things. It's a very dangerous and very, very invigorating, consuming proposition to start inventing shit. I felt like we needed it in the industry, but I've also been a great improver. You could be an inventor, but you could also be an improver. There's a lot of people that have made millions and millions of dollars finding stuff that was pretty good and made it great,
Yeah. Yeah.
right? I mean, I can go down the list of so many people. Like you look at, Jack Taylor with Enterprise Rent a Car, who just he got off a Navy ship and showed a rent a cars, and he turned that whole thing into the biggest. Enterprise is bigger than like Hertz, Avis,
Yeah.
Dollar, and Alamo all put together. I mean, because he saw that business as you get into a car accident, you need to get your car fixed. Instead of just going to an airport to get a rent a car, he thought it was a replacement car. You
Mm.
look at Dunkin' Donuts, who's about to go down. That guy's a genius. He figured out a way to partner up with other entities, Baskin Robbins, bring coffee into the mix, start bringing breakfast and lunch sandwiches in the mix. I mean, that company was about to go down, but he saw the business different.
Mhm.
I mean, you go down that those are the people we have to start looking at. People that can see the business different. And for most of us, the opportunities are standing right in front of us if we're looking at things like what's broken or what's working, but maybe I can figure out a way to do it better.
Mhm.
Don't have to overcomplicate it. Any form of that is leadership.
Yeah. Can you talk a bit about like the acquisition of the old Yankee Stadium? Why you want to do that? How that all even happened?
Well, I mean, when I was doing my Yankees, when I was doing the deal, I said, if you ever take the stadium down, I got to do it. And they agreed to that, which I give the Yankees a lot of credit for staying by me and giving me that opportunity, which was a chance in a lifetime. A lot of the detail of this is in my You Gotta Have Balls book. I've written 4 books.
Mm.
The Balls book was probably one of the more popular ones, even though I just wrote a book, Ride Alongs, I lived with the NYPD for about a year and a half, trying to figure out what's wrong with urban policing. Nothing to do with this conversation, but in a way, leadership, because you have to admit the policing situation in this country is dim. It's not good, and we need a different view on this. I'm hoping that we all come to our senses and realize how important it is to be safe. But back to the Yankee Stadium thing, it was a big undertaking. It was very complex, but it was I think it's like a lot of people know me for that because instead of just going and taking all the most expensive pieces and auctioning them, I created hundreds of thousands of pieces, cutting up the Yankee bench, the black out in the outfield and having Reggie Jackson sign it. There were 9,000 bricks in Monument Park, 5,000 cold bricks right above the batting cage, that so we found all the little nooks and crannies. We took the speakers and had, some of the announcers sign them. So you had a speaker in your man cave from the old Yankee Stadium. We left nothing untouched. Lifted the field up, freeze dried the grass. You can have a piece of the last day of the Yankee Stadium on the field on your desk forever. And that's really where the dirt sales really propelled. So there's a fascinating chapter. If anybody out there wants the book, just go to Collectible Exchange. It's on there, or you can buy it on Amazon. It's a great book.
Yeah, that's fascinating. It's amazing how you make the most out of these things. Like thousands and thousands of items. I mean, that's smart, just smart business.
I'll give you a quick example, Ben. Like you got 9,000 bricks and then 5,000, so it's 14,000 bricks. We ordered 10,000 cases for the bricks, and I see outside my offices people are skirting. Something's going on. I don't know what the hell's going on. And finally, I go out. I go, what the hell's going on here? He goes, you're not going to believe this. Nobody wanted to come and tell you, but the bricks do not fit in the case.
Oh man.
I'm like, what? He goes, we have 10,000 cases and the bricks don't fit. I'm like, go get a brick cutter.
Cut them
We
in half.
cut the top of the brick off,
Huh.
and we created a whole nother product with all the Monument Park famous people there, and we plaqued it up with a picture of them with a piece of the brick. We had 9,000 more products, and then the brick fit nicely right into the case. So it's like, all problems can get solved, and sometimes, the adversity and what you think is a disadvantage ends up being an advantage if you
Yeah,
really want to put the thought and time into being creative and not giving in and giving up.
right. Just the last question I have, like, what is your goal right now? I mean, I know you have the collectibles platform, but what are you trying to do? Is the next, let's say, 5 to 10 year kind of plan right now? Like, what does that outlook look like?
It's a good question, and I have no idea. I'm not one of the. I'm a thinker. I'm a thinker head guy. Like I'm thinking about 26 right now. We're sitting in 25. I'm not worried about what's happening in 5 years, but I think the markets are so sensitive and things are moving so quickly. I'm more of a lion when it comes to that, sitting back as opposed to trying to set the tone with everything. Obviously, I want my exchange to have 500,000 items on there. I think we have like 150 now. I want to get up to a 500,000 items within the next 18 months and be the ultimate place where people can go and get game used cards and collectibles. And really, in a reach goal, I want to get up to 1 million items, but quality items. You can get 1 million items on eBay, but so much crap. And I'm a partner with eBay. I love eBay, but I wish they would get rid of half the vendors on there that are selling crap and ruins it for everyone. Me, I won't let that crap on my marketplace. And I'm not just talking about price. I have stuff for 50 or $100, $25. I just think there's just a certain level of stuff that just doesn't deserve to be flooding your marketplace. And do as much good as I can for as many people as I can. I mean, a lot of the proceeds from my books and what we make here is for charity. I've done really well. I've been very grateful for some of the loyalty I've gotten from the fans to constantly come back. I mean, I had a huge customer base at Steiner. I didn't know they were going to leave and come to Collectible Exchange, but they did. And it's because I give a shit, and it's because I care about them. And I want to blow them away every day with wow stuff and customer service and everything else. So I'm very grateful that I put that time and energy in. My mother beat the hell out of me about customer service since I was a little kid. Oh, she would go crazy when people didn't do the right thing. And I realized how important it is and how much of a difference it could make. So, yeah, that's really the goal. Like, I'm not pressed. I'm on a highway with no red lights, Ben.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Like, to me, it's like, what's the legacy as far as what I could do on charity and helping others? And then if I can grow this marketplace, which helps people in a lot of ways get out from underneath these collections that they somehow are inheriting or left behind that they don't know what to do with, and I could be that guy that helps them. That's cool too.
that's cool. Well, Brandon, thanks for taking the time and doing this. I think you've had an amazing journey, what you've done so far, and now you see the future. This is what you need. You need to have a proper collectible exchange backed by somebody like you that cares about customers and wants to do it authentically. So I think everyone should check it out, and I'm excited to see what happens with the exchange.
Thank you. I'm here. If anybody has any questions or anything, they got something. Everybody has something they don't know what the value is and need help with. I'm always here. And thanks for having me, Ben. Appreciate you.